word is a spell, a seed, a sword, a sanctuary. And today I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself, when you speak, especially when you are tired, when you are triggered, when you are afraid, are you building a home or burning one down? Because your word, it can create one of the most beautiful dreams, or it can destroy everything around you. So I got a question for you. What did you say to yourself this morning? What are you speaking over your body, over your life, over your family, over your future? And are your words aligned with the love you say you want? Well, hey, my beautiful people, welcome to the Season of Self-Love Podcast. It's your girl, Goddess Nyomi. And I am so glad to be with you here on this Mindset Monday. And on this Mindset Monday, we are reclaiming our power by reclaiming our words. In this month of March, our theme has been reclaiming your boundaries. And y'all, it's all about reclaiming your words today. You know, your words are a boundary. Your words are protection. Your words are power. And your words can either heal or harm yourself and the people that you love. So today I have a real life story for you. I have a mindset shift for you. And I have a simple practice that you can use immediately to start speaking with impeccability. So let me welcome you properly to the show. Welcome to the Season of Self-Love Podcast, the season of healing intentionally. I am your host, Nyomi, and I am so glad that you are here. This season, we are slowing down to go deeper. Every Monday and Wednesday, we're creating a space of intentional healing, authentic conversations, and the kind of self-love that transforms from the inside out. This podcast is brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, where we believe that loving yourself intentionally is a foundation of true transformation. So whether you're on your own journey of rebirth, navigating life transitions, or simply choosing yourself, this is your safe space. So get comfy, grab your favorite beverage, and let's heal together intentionally, because you deserve to embrace that beautiful person that you are. Now let's get started. Well, all right, my beautiful people, before we dive into this conversation about the power of our words, we're going to do what we always do here on the Season of Self-Love, that we're going to ground ourselves. Yes, we are going to ground ourselves with this 60-second meditation just to set the tone of our intentions. So wherever you are right now, if you would just take a moment, and if you are able to close your eyes and just to get comfortable, all right? All right, my beautiful souls, wherever you are and whatever you're doing, I want you to just pause for a moment, and I want you to put both of your feet flat on the floor. And I want you to soften your shoulders. I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold for 2. 1, 2. And exhale through your mouth for 6. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now on the exhale, I want you to release the need to control. Now I want you to place one hand onto your heart. And now I want you to say quietly to yourself. And I want you to repeat after me. My words are medicine. Now inhale in. Exhale. Now say quietly to yourself. I release reactive language. I release guilt-based communication. I release the need to be right. I welcome impeccability. I welcome truth spoken with tenderness. Now one more breath in. Release. Now say, Today I speak life. My words create beauty, love, and heaven on earth. I am reclaimed, and I am unashamed. And when you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right. Thank you all for just joining me in that spot. And if you're new here to the Season of Self-Love podcast, there's something we do every episode. It's just to help ground us before we get into the topic at hand. So let's talk about spring cleaning as a spiritual metaphor. This is something that I do every year. Sometimes it takes me 2 days. Sometimes it takes me 2 weeks. Sometimes it takes me a week, but it does take me a week. All right, my beautiful people. All right. So when I woke up this morning, I felt so very grateful because this past week I've been doing spring cleaning, like deep spring cleaning, organizing things, getting things in order, preparing for something new. And as I'm moving through my home, cleaning out what no longer serves me, I'm cleaning and taking care of what I have. And it hit me. Spring cleaning isn't just physical. It isn't just physical. Spring cleaning is spiritual. You see, reclaiming isn't only about adding new things to your life. It's about removing what no longer serves. It's about decluttering, not just your closet, but your mind, your heart, and your mouth. Yes, your mouth. Because we carry old stories. We carry reactive language, and we carry guilt-based communication. We carry the need to be right instead of choosing to connect. And just like that, I was cleaning my home this week. We have to clean up the way that we speak. We have to do some spring cleaning in our words. Because here's this truth. Spring cleaning isn't just in the closet. It's in the mouth. It's in the mind. It's in the way we talk to ourselves and to the people we love. In this weekend, I had a moment that reminded me just how powerful our words are and how they can destroy everything around us or how they can create the most beautiful dream ever. So let me tell you what happened. So I'm gonna set the stage for y'all, all right? So my mother, she's 74 years old, and I can share that with you all because she's very proud that she'd be 75 years old in a couple of months. And as I've shared with you all on many occasions, that she has Alzheimer's dementia. And she's been living with this diagnosis for 4 years now. And we've got the diagnosis of this the day after Christmas, right? And if you know anything about dementia, you know that anniversaries and special dates can trigger those episodes. And right now, we're actually close to my parents' anniversary. So let me say this, actually today is actually my parents' anniversary. And when these days come around like this, it sets off from the burial of my father. My father was buried this month. Let me say 16, 17 years ago. And so that's remembered my grandmother passing, my grandmother's birthday, my grandfather. So it's dates like those kind of trigger her. And so she kind of goes through what I called a episode. She does the episodes where she forgets a lot. And it's a week long of events that happens, a week long events that happens for us. So this past week, my mother had misplaced a very important article. And now this is an article that I had asked her on several occasions, could I hold it for safekeeping? But she insisted that she was old enough to hold on to it herself. And she told me, this is what she said, that I just wanted it because I wanted to control something. And I guess when you think about this, when you think about older people, your elders, your parents, your older, they always have a sense of control because they're your parents. And, they don't want anybody telling them anything, and I believe that I spoke about this before years ago when we first got the diagnosis, is that once you seem to find that your sense of control is gone, that you fight for it. You want to fight for it. So I understand that dialogue and that text. So, at that time, I just let it go. And I said, when that time happens, it will happen. And I'm just going to deal with it then. And so this week we have been dealing with that, with her losing that. Now, I do have some very important papers of hers that I have in a file with her name on it. And I have files dated and everything like that. And so those are the ones that I'm able to get to that's in my folder, right? And she asked me, well, did I put it in there? Because I remember you saying, that you had. I said, no. I said, no. I said, no, Mama, I never received that. I said, I never received that. So let me say this. So I remember when my mom was first diagnosed with it, and I'm going to say it like this. When my mother was first diagnosed, I felt that it was the whole family were diagnosed with it because we all were living with this. And so I read like every book on Alzheimer's and dementia possibly that I could. And it was certain things that you were not supposed to do. You were not supposed to remind them that they forget. You were supposed to always allow them to be right. It was so many things in there, and I could not understand why it was like that. And I was like, okay, we're not going to do it that way. We have to it can't be so cookie cutter. And I know it might be some people that's listening to this that have been caregivers of Alzheimer's or could be specialists of caregivers for Alzheimer's and dementia and say, oh my God, no, she isn't saying that. But let me say this works for us. And it has to work because every individual is different. And we've been able to find our language on what works for us with this condition. Okay. And so she went away after I told her that I didn't receive it. She said, okay, well, I need to go look for it. So she went away. For a few hours later, she come back and she said, well, you know what? I need you to make me a doctor's appointment. And I said, well, why? And she said, because I need to see the doctor. I need for the doctor to tell me what's going on with my brain. Now, in that moment, I could have reacted. I could have been frustrated. I could have said something sharp, but instead I just paused. And I said, Mama, let me hold your hand for just a moment. And I had a little smirk on my face. And we do this now. We have this kid friend, this is my good girlfriend type of thing. Like, look, Mama, good girlfriend, let me hold your hand for a moment. Now, if you are listening to this and you would think like, oh, this might seem very sentimental as Nyomi is saying this, but no, it's a little bit sarcasm because my mother would say that to me. She would say that, girl, let me hold your hand for a moment while I give you this little news. But this is how we talk to one another, right? So as I'm holding her hand, I asked her, I said, well, how old are you again now? And she said, well, I'll be 75 and I look good. Don't I look good for 75? And I said, yes, you do. You look very good for 75. I said, well, I want to tell you this. I said, well, 4 years ago, the day after Christmas, I said, the doctor gave us a diagnosis for you. And then as I began to say, she began to say it with me. Alzheimer's, dementia. And I say, yes. And so then I went on to tell her what has been happening over the past 4 years. The appointments, the saying no to the medication, all of the things that the herbal journey that we have been going on, the medication journey that we've been having going on, the everything, the journey that we have been going on together, even in the beginning when it felt like it was a battle of control, that we were trying to control the disease, the fear that we had of it all, that we didn't know any better. We didn't. She saw it from her daughter seeing her mother go through it. And we just didn't know what that would look like for her to go through that. I remember telling her again about the letter that she had written to me, about it. If she ever was to forget who I was, to remind her who I was, to reintroduce myself, and that she apologized to me beforehand if she was to ever lash out at me or whatever, that she's had already apologized for it, you know. And after I told her that, she looked at me and it was tears in her eyes. And she said, she said to me, God, why did you give me this? What did I do so wrong to deserve this? She said, I can't handle this. And in that moment, y'all, it was that very moment that I had to choose. I had a choice about what words that I was going to speak into that space. It was at that moment that I had to choose what words that I was going to say to my mother. To my mother, the very woman that has given birth to me. The very woman who has taught me so many things. That I had to make sure that at that moment of her time of that awareness, or how can I help to take that shame away from her? Was I going to shame her, or was I going to help her to reclaim the narrative for not only for her, but for the both of us? So I looked at my mama and I said to her, I said, you know what? You can handle it. And I said, and girl, you've been handling. I said, you've been doing an amazing job. I said, you've been doing an amazing job. I said, you did nothing wrong, mama. You didn't. I said, this is not a curse. I said, this is not a punishment that God is giving you. I told her, so you know what this is? I said, this is another amazing journey that God has set us on together. He gave this to both of us together. This is an important assignment. This is an important assignment. I said, I know in the beginning it was rough for the both of us. I said, but through prayer, through meditation, and I said, and through that book, The 4 Agreements, y'all know I love me some Don Miguel Ruiz. We have been able to get through it. And I reminded her on how important of the words that we speak. I reminded her how important that the words that she speak. I reminded her of the importance of her faith. I reminded her of all of those years of being in church on Sundays, on Mondays, on Wednesdays, on Saturdays at Ursher. And I told her, I acknowledge that you are afraid. And I said, but this lady that I know right now, this lady right here, all of this AD right here, all of this Alzheimer's, dementia glory, she's a dope chick. And I hang with her and laugh with her all in a day, all the time. And you know what happened? She smiled. She exhaled. She squeezed my hand. And then we moved forward. I'm not saying that wasn't a hard moment. I was reclaiming that meaning. It was so eye-opening for me. It was so very eye-opening for me. And I know it won't be the last time. It won't be the last time that I'm going to have to repeat the next 4 years or the next 5 years on what happened in my mother's life. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that assignment that he has given me, that he has given us. I'm okay with that. I am so okay with that. So now let's talk about the lesson in the word, impeccability word, all right? So let's talk about what just happened there, what I just gave y'all. Because what I just practiced in that moment with my mother is what's called impeccability of the word. Now, if you read the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz, you know that this is the first agreement, is be impeccable with your words. But let me break it down what that actually means in everyday language. Impeccable means clean, honest, aligned, and not sloppy. Your word is creative power. What it does is that it shapes your mood, your relationships, your identity, and even your nervous system. Your words are a wound, or it could be a womb. They either can destroy or they can create. And there are two lanes of a speech. So I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna give you an example of what words that destroy. I can't do that. You know what that does? That's self-attack. That's a self-attack on you. So the next time you say, I can't do that, you just self-attacked yourself. Here's another one. This is only going to get worse. When you say this is only going to get worse, you prophesying fear into your life. Fear prophecy. You are prophesying fear into it. And here's another one. What did I do to deserve this? What did I do to deserve this? And what you're doing to yourself, that's shame language. You're shaming yourself. And here's the last one. If you just listen to me, that's control language. You see, these words create hell on earth. And they shut down communication. They shut down connections. They create shame. And they build walls. But here's the other side of the thing. This is another way that you can use your words. These are words that you can use to create. Like this. This is hard, and we're still here. This is hard, and we're still here. Truth and tenderness. The truth is, this is hard. But guess what? But we're still here. There's still hope. We're still here. We ain't gone. Even though it's hard, it didn't break us. It didn't take us out. It didn't kill us. We're still here. Or you've handled it so much already. You've handled it so much already. What that is, that's strength and recall. This is an assignment, not a punishment. Meaning making. This is an assignment. I'm about to bring it all the way down. I'm about to bring it down to where it make all sense. You know, when we was in school back in the day, we had the assignment that was difficult. And we used to be like, oh my God, why did I get it? That's what this is. This is an assignment for me and her. Because when I tell you the books that I've read on Alzheimer's and dementia, it didn't fit our picture. It did not fit our picture. It did not fit our life. It wasn't relatable to us. So maybe just our story, our picture could be relatable to someone else. So as we're going through this, as I am talking with you all here on this platform, maybe this will be relatable to someone. So this assignment is not a punishment. This is meaning making. This is defining the purpose of. Does that make sense? And then the last one. You are still you. You are still love. What that is, that's identifying affirmation. You see, these are the words that create heaven on earth. They build connections. They honor reality while directing toward healing. And here's the important nuance of it. Impeccable words are not toxic positivity. They don't deny reality. They direct reality. You see, I didn't tell my mother she doesn't have dementia. I didn't tell her that it's not hard. I didn't dismiss her fear. But I also didn't let her fear and shame be the only voice in the room. What I chose to do, I chose to speak life. I chose to speak the truth with tenderness. And I chose to remind her of who she is beyond this diagnosis. I was real with her, but I was real with her with empathy, with compassion, with my eyes and my heart wide open for her. Because here is what I know. Your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. Because the impeccability of your word, it only creates beauty, love, and heaven on this earth. All right, my beautiful people, what I want to do right now, I want to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to continue with reclaiming it in real time. And I'm going to give you a three-step word reset when we come back, all right? It's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, here on the Season of Self-Love podcast, and we will be right back.
Washington Wellness Institute focuses on healing always. For me, if I look good, then I feel good. If I feel good, then I share the good. If I share the good, then I celebrate the good. If I celebrate the good, then I live the good. So I can be paid to be my greatest. But I have to learn the good to be the good.
So, what does it take to be the greatest? It's as simple as a free 15-minute consultation. Be kind to yourself and heal always.
Hey, it's your girl, the goddess, Nyomi Banks, and make sure you tune in every Thursday night to Ask Nyomi Bridging the Gap podcast, where we talk about everything from love, sex, relationship, cultural differences, and so much more. We're bridging the gap between them all, and we even talk about spiritual uplifting. You need to stop by. Me and Dr. Mike, as well as the BTG crew. We have some amazing guests that come through. You never know. Just make sure you tune in Thursday night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Go to axnyomi.com and tell them Nyomi sent you. All right, my beautiful people, well, welcome back to the Season of Self-Love. You are listening to the goddess, Nyomi Banks here. All right, my beautiful people, well, today we are talking about impeccability of the word, and that's reclaiming it. So reclaiming in real time, the three-step word reset is we're going to talk about. So how do you actually practice this? How do you reclaim your words in real time? Especially when you are triggered, when you are tired, and when you are afraid. So I'm going to give you a simple three-step tool that you can use today. And I call it word reset. Y'all ready? All right. So step one, what I want you to do is I want you to pause. Yes, pause. And I want you to take 3 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 3 breaths. Before you respond and regulate, before you speak, I want you to ground yourself. Give yourself 3 breaths to come back into your body, to connect with your values, and to remember who you want to be in this moment. Before I respond, I regulate. That is what you say. Before I respond, I regulate. And step 2, name what's true without blame. Name what's true without blame. This is where you acknowledge reality without attacking. You can say something like, I hear you. or I can see that you're scared, or this matters to you. No, this is hard. You're naming the truth at the moment without making anyone wrong. So you are creating the space for both of you to be human. And then step 3, choose words that build. So I want you to ask yourself this question. Will this sentence create love or create damage? If it creates damage, don't say it. Find another way to reframe it and redirect it. So if my mother says, I can't handle this, I don't argue with her. I redirect the truth. You can handle it because you have. I seen you. I even say, you go, girl, because I seen you do that. And before I knew it, she'd be like, yeah. I see a side of her that I didn't even think that I didn't know my mama could get ratchet. And she do. Because I had to change a different language for her that fit who she is now. And when I tell y'all this, when I say the woman who I see now, I see her who she was before there was a me, before there was my brother and sister and my father. You know, when she didn't have stress. You know, and I am so blessed that I am so blessed, and I had to pause for a second. I am so blessed that I am able to give that to her. I am so blessed that I am with the man who I'm with that is standing right next to me, helping me, encourage me to give that to my mother as well. Does that make sense? Because for me to be able to do what I'm doing with my mother, I had to have a great support system in my husband and my partner. And so I know who I have with me, that I'm blessed. And so that's how I can wake up in the morning and be grateful and in gratitude. I just wanted to give that moment in that pause. That's why I took that pause for that moment, because I just felt that. So I'm going to go back. So when my mother says, what did I do to deserve this? I don't agree with her shame. So I redirect that meaning. And I say, this is not a punishment. This is an assignment. See, your words are a home. They are a home. Build one that you and the people that you love can live in. And I have a mantra for you. And I want y'all to remember, my words are a home. And just as I'm thinking about this, I had another situation earlier this week. And it was actually another loved one that was doing something new. That was doing something new. And it was doing something for me, but it was something new for them. And the old version of me would have been all on their neck. And I had to stop, and I had to remind myself is that this person is doing something so new that they never done before. And they are afraid. And so you have to meet them there. You have to meet them there where they're at. And so you have to show up in a different way, meaning that you have to show up with compassion and empathy and understand. You have to allow them to go through their emotions and just be there for them. So make sure you choose your words wisely. And when I wake up in the morning and I go to my altar and I talk about and I make that agreement with myself about those 4 agreements, yes. Because the relationships that I have, not only with myself, but with the loved ones, especially in my intimate circle, because I know we all are not in the same space mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically right now. We're not. I know what I've been through. I know the strength that God has given me within these past few years. And I also know that we can be a mirror imaging of one another. And so I choose to be that mirror image of positivity, of growth, of healing, not of toxicity, not of damage, not of hurt, not of pain. I choose for my words to be a home of safe space, not a house, but a home. And I just wanted to share that too, because it's like a few times. So yeah, this message was needed. It was needed. It just went through there. Yeah, it was needed. All right, and this next segment right here that I'm going to speak, this is for caregivers and anyone that's carrying heavy emotional labor, because it can be. And I share this with you all because I want to speak directly to that. I want to speak directly to any caregivers that are listening right now, to the people that are holding heavy emotional labor, to the people who are exhausted, triggered, and in doing their best. I see you. I see you. I am you. And here's what I want you to know. Impeccability of the word doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you never mess up. It doesn't mean that you never say the wrong thing. It means you try again. It means you apologize when you need to. It means that you keep choosing to love even when it's hard. Caregiving is one of the hardest roles that we can take on because you're watching someone you love struggle and you can't fix it. You can't take it away. You can only show up. You can only love them. And you can only choose your words carefully. And some days you will mess up. Some days you will say something reactive. And some days you will be tired and short and impatient. And when that happens, you practice the word reset and you pause and you regulate and you try again. Because impeccable doesn't mean perfect. Impeccable means intentional. So where have your words been messy? So I want you to take a moment right now and ask yourself, where have my words been messy lately? And I'm going to give you a list of things on where possibly your words can be messy lately at. One of the places of where your words can be messy at is, where have I been speaking destruction instead of creation, right? Or where have I been using my words to wound instead of to heal? Or where have I been speaking fear over my life, my body, my relationship, or my future? And here's the follow-up. Here it is. What do I keep speaking that I'm ready to release? These are the words that you release to what I just told you on how you speak messy. Maybe it's, I can't do this. Or maybe it's, this is only going to get worse. Or maybe it's, I'm not enough. I know plenty of us said that. Or maybe it's something like you say to yourself every single day that been eating away at you. I know it has. But what are you ready to release? And then you ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want to start speaking over my life for the next 30 days? What words do you want to plant seeds? Like seeds. What words? What reality do you want to create with your mouth? And finally, who needs a you can't handle it and you have it from me or from myself? Who in your life needs to hear words of life? Who needs to be reminded of their strength? Who needs you to speak truth with tenderness? And maybe that person is you. Or maybe you're the one who needs to hear you can't handle it. And you have. Maybe that's you. Maybe you need to be standing in the mirror and say, you can't handle it, but you have. To remind yourself that you have been handling, that you are doing an amazing job, and that you're not being punished. This is just a part of your assignment. Because if it is, then I want y'all to do this challenge. I want y'all to do this 24-hour impeccable word challenge. All right? So here's what I want you to do. I'm giving you this challenge. For the next 24 hours, I want you to commit to these 4 things. Number 1, no self-insults. If you catch yourself saying, I'm stupid, or I can't do anything right, or I am a mess, stop, reframe it, and say something kind to yourself, all right? And number 2, no future doom statements. No future doom statements. No more, this is never going to work out, or everything is falling apart, or I'm not going to fail, or I'm going to fail. Instead, try this. I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm figuring it out. And number 3, I want you to replace I can't with I'm learning to. And this is huge. Instead of I can't handle this, say I'm learning to handle this. Instead of I can't do this, say I'm learning to do this. I want you to shift your brains from fixed to growth, from powerless to powerful. And 4, I want you to speak one intentional blessing over someone. I want you to text someone that you love and tell them something true and kind. I want you to say it to yourself in the mirror. But I want you to speak one intentional blessing. I want you to create beauty with your words. And if you need help, here are some examples that can help you with that you could swap with. Instead of saying I'm overwhelmed, try I'm carrying a lot. And I'm going to take one step at a time. And instead of this is ruining everything. I want you to try this. This is challenging me, and I'm choosing to love it anyway. And instead of it, I can't believe this is happening. I want you to try this. I didn't expect this, and I'm learning to adapt. Do you see the difference? You're not denying your reality. You're just redirecting your reality. And when I tell you it works because I do this on a daily. I do this on a daily. Do I fail sometimes? Well, let me say, do I have to recorrect myself? Yes. Hell yes. But I keep trying. I keep doing it. I keep working it. Come take it, try out. I keep working it. I keep working it. I keep working it to the best of my ability. I do my best. No more, no less. That's my agreement number 4. That's the agreement number 4. All right, my beautiful people, let's bring this home. Reclaiming is choosing your words on purpose. Reclaiming is deciding that your mouth will be a sanctuary, not a sword. Reclaiming is remembering that your words can create heaven on earth, even in a hard season. And if you are a caregiver, if you are holding heavy emotional labor, if you are navigating something difficult right now, I want you to honor you. I want you to thank you. I want you to remind you that your words matter, that your presence matter, that your love matters, and that you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be intentional. So this week, I want you to take that 24-hour impeccable word challenge. And when you do, share it with me. Come to the Instagram and tell me one sentence. I am reclaiming this week. I want to hear from you. I want you to celebrate with you. I want to witness your reclaiming. And if this episode has resonated with you, I want you to share it with someone who needs this word reset. Leave a review, send a message. Let's build a community of people who are reclaiming their power through their words that they speak. So until next Mindset Monday, this is your girl, Nyomi, reminding you to be good to one another and yourselves, and always keep it sexy. Let yourself love yourself first so you can love others well. Have an amazing, amazing day. Have a good one. Thank you so much for joining me today on this journey of intentional healing. I hope that this conversation has filled your cup and reminded you of the beautiful and worthy person that you are. I want you to remember, healing isn't about rushing. It's about showing up for yourself with love and intention, one day at a time. So I'll see you back here Monday and Wednesday for another episode of the Season of Healing Intentionally, right here on the Season of Self-Love podcast. So until then, keep choosing you. And visit us at the seasonofselflovepodcast.com for show notes and resources. And remember to connect with me on Instagram at The Real Nyomi Banks. This has been brought to you by Ask Nyomi and Elevate Me Self-Discovery, because your healing matters. You are loved, you are worthy, and you are exactly where you need to be. Take care.